Okay, YouTube, we're going live here also with Facebook right here on Global Sports Broadcasting Network. Here we go. Lots of sports talk today. All righty. Welcome back. It's a good Friday on this February, another cold February, the 7th of 2020, 2020 vision this year. Another big sports day in the last 48 hours. Got a lot of topics to talk about, a lot of questions to ask, and look for your responses and see what you think. I love to hear that. Let's get to it right away. Questions. What is the most popular sports or sport in America? What are the top five, top 10? What can you think of? Give it to me. I want to hear you. Also, what is the most popular sports in the world? What sports can you name 1 through 5, the most popular ones in the world? You're going to be surprised by one. Maybe not. But you may be surprised where one sport is lower than you think and believe. Hank Aaron, the home run king in a lot of people's minds. Hank Aaron, Hammer and Hank, who broke Babe Ruth's record of home runs total in a career. Hammer and Hank speaks loudly of banning baseball players, cheating baseball players, Houston Astros, whoever is part of it. But he is not happy, speaking loudly about those players should be banned for life. We'll get into that more. Hank Aaron speaking out. That's big. That is very big. Hank, a legend, a voice that is respected and honorable. The big NFL news and headlines, we'll get into that. There's a lot of chatter and rumors flying around more than ever about certain players, some big names too. We'll get into that. And the Cleveland Browns are raising ticket prices. How do you think and believe? Or if you're a Browns fan, what are you thinking? Anyway, we'll get into that a little bit and how ticket prices, should they go up or down and why and all that a little bit later on. All right, let's pop it in and let's get it going right here. I see a lot of people popping. I want to say hello to Kimberly, Felix, Dawn. We have Felix in the house. Who else we got in here? I got a few more popping in. I want to say hi to. We got Dawn, we got Michelle, and we got David, we have Joe. All right, let's get moving along. Topic number 1. What sport in America has the biggest, the most popular game in America? And this is by attendance versus total population. Okay? What sport pushes that number to the limit or goes over it? The sport that we're talking about, number 1, is the NFL. 35% of America watch the NFL. And that's a lot. Number 2 on the list is Major League Baseball at 14%. Now, that's a big drop off. I mean, this is the NFL dominating the most popular sport. That's why it's the most popular sport in America. Number 3 on the list, you may be surprised, but it's the college football games. College football, number 11%. I should say 11%. Number 4 on the list is auto racing at 7%. Auto racing capturing America. At number 5, is it the NBA, then NHL, or is it the college men's basketball or just college basketball overall? Who do you got as number 5 on the list? At number 5, it is the NBA at 6% as the most popular sport in America. Think about that. All the hype, everything you hear about the NBA, nobody's watching it. Now, there are people watching it, but not the way you believe or you're hoping. It is really down. It is so far down. Hockey is right behind them at 5% of America watching hockey. And then college basketball at 3%. So you're at the bottom, the NBA. the bottom of the barrel. You're not even close to the NFL. You're not even close to Major League Baseball. Baseball's 14% of America watching it, going to the games, going to the stadium, everything. For the NBA, you're at 6%. You're getting crushed by baseball. You're getting beat up by college football. And you're losing to auto racing. No, auto racing is a big, popular sport in America. But you're losing to auto racing. When you talk about the top four sports in America, we always would say the NFL. We always say the NFL, Major League Baseball, the NBA, and the NHL, hockey. That's not the case, folks. It's now, it has been the NFL. Major League Baseball keep their rankings, but it's college football and auto racing, NASCAR, drag racing, whatever it is, any type of auto racing, it's there over the NBA and the NHL and college basketball. But that's the bottom of the top five barrel right there. Baseball holds its own. Everybody complains it's boring. I hate it. But why is it still 14% of America? Why is it number 2 on the list? You're not catching football right now. It just holds down America, 35%. Give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts. Thinking about baseball. Baseball season is right here. We're a week away from pitchers and catchers base. A little over a week away. 10 days away. 2 weeks the max for some teams. From pitchers and catchers. Spring training. The 2020 baseball season. It's picking up. A lot of news besides the scandal cheating stuff. We'll get into that more. But Major League Baseball's attendance continues to rise. Continues to rise. From the early 1900s, from the 1910s, the 1920s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, all the way up until the 2000s, right? To the 2010s and to the current date. Major League Baseball continues to climb in attendance. It's had its ups and a lot of ups, and it's had its downs. It had some low moments. Its highest peak was about the mid 90s, the mid to late 90s, when baseball peaked at its highest ever before. But since then, it maintains quite simply the same pattern from 1995, 6, 7, 8, 9, the last part of the 90s. Baseball has not dropped off. It's still very popular. People are still going to the games. Attendance is still up. There's a lot of money being made in baseball. Owners are making bank, a lot of bank. And for people who don't understand that, wake up. They're making a ton of money, not just domestically, even globally. We'll get into that in a minute. Okay. So, thinking of baseball's attendance, right? Basically, the same for the last 20 years, peaking at times, but never really dropping off. It's been a steady, consistent climb for baseball. And it's maintained a high level of interest around the world. You would think the NBA, with all its international leagues and the NBA doing all its stuff internationally, it would be higher up on that scale, on that list. Domestically, NBA numbers are down. ESPN has lost 14% of their revenue through all their media outlets, from TV, from devices, from the internet, things like that. All the digital stuff, they're down. The NBA, ESPN, struggling with that. No matter as much as you hear names in the news, nobody's watching it. Only a select few. Okay? Now, what is the most popular sport in the world, on the globe, right here on Global Sports Broadcasting Network? Well, the world, soccer, or football in the international term, is the most popular. well into the numbers, right? What sport makes the most money? Things like that. We're talking billions of dollars. Which sport is the most popular part of it? Soccer worldwide is roughly around 43 million $1 billion in yeah, making a lot of money. It's very popular. Number 2 on the list of the most popular sport around the world is American football. And they easily are far behind soccer or international football. But American football, the NFL, and all those kind of games are in second place. Okay, more than half behind the population of popularity with soccer around the world. Number 3 on the list of the most popular sport in the world. What do you think it is? Who do you think it is? What is it? Here are your choices: rugby, cricket, ice hockey, basketball, baseball. Out of those, they're on the list. But which one's number 3 in the world? Is the most popular sport in the world. But you forget there's so much going on with this game around the world. It is baseball. As baseball approaches again, as we're near the new 2020 season, spring training, baseball is the third most popular sport in the world. So when you have people who are knocking it down and calling it whatever you want, why are people still watching it? Why are people more interested? Why is it that it's been always around the world? It's been all over Asia for decades. It's been all over the Caribbean for decades. It's even in Europe. It's in the UK. It's been in Canada forever. It's been an Olympic sport. Baseball has always had its hands in the globe itself, around the globe. There are so many baseball professional leagues around the world, on every continent, every part. Football has leagues around the world, but not as the high level American football as the professional leagues of baseball around the world. Let's put that in perspective again. When you go around the world to watch American football, there are leagues, but the level of play and competition does not compare to baseball's level of competition around the world. It doesn't. Baseball professional leagues in Asia, in South America, in the Caribbean itself, Canada, and now in Europe, and also in the UK, have big time professional baseball leagues, competitive. And it's year round. They play baseball year round. When the boys of summer are done and done with their World Series, then we go right into fall league. Then you go into winter ball league all over the world, from Australia, which are playing in their series. They're playing for their championship now. You're looking at the South American leagues right now playing. If you're paying attention, all the South American teams, including Mexico, are all playing professional league baseball for the championship right now. So it's year round. We just don't popularize it a whole lot. But if you pay attention, baseball has always been like that. It's amazing that people miss that baseball, for whatever reason, as we look at it differently, I'm surprised that it's not popular than football, American football. I was a little surprised because of the world reach of baseball for all those decades. But football, the American football, does a great, great job of promoting their game. And they have been going overseas, and they have been doing this, and growing their game. For the NBA, there are great NBA professional teams around the world, professional leagues around the world. It's a very international game, but not as popular as baseball. Ice hockey. Ice hockey is huge around the world, especially in Europe, Eastern Europe, anywhere in Europe. Huge. Canada, obviously. America, obviously. I'm not quite sure about South America. But even in Asia, China and Japan have their own hockey teams. It's huge, professional hockey around the world. Globally, it's been big. But soccer or international football has always been in our backyards, in our streets, in our parks, wherever, in our schools, all over the world. It's the most simplicity part of any game. You just need a ball. It didn't matter if it was a big or a soccer ball or a tennis ball. Just kicking a ball is a kid thing. That's what you did. You kick a ball, you threw a ball, you bounce a ball. And then you put a target somewhere and try to make it a score. You didn't have to have goals and the big professional goals for soccer goals. Could have been a couple of sticks to get past them for a goal. It's the most simple and the most, what you would say, for the poor man, the poor child struggling, that game itself fits them perfectly too. You don't need a whole lot. You can play the game barefoot. And baseball has a bat, a ball, a glove. But when I watch Mariano Rivera, the great legend Yankee Hall of Famer, the unanimous vote Hall of Famer, talked about how he was so poor living in Panama and that he didn't have a baseball glove. He would cut out cardboard and created a mitt, a cardboard as a glove. You know what cardboard is, right? Created it. He did something with it where he can get his hand up on it, and he cupped it. And he would catch the ball basically like bare hands. But he would play with his friends baseball that way. So when you're young or you're struggling and fighting, what sport? Now, basketball, just a ball, finding a hoop, or finding something to throw the ball up. Football, the same way. You don't need pads and helmets. When we grew up in Brooklyn, New York. We had parks. There were places to go play tackle football. But a lot of times we just want to go right into the street and play some ball. So we just played a lot of two-hand touch, and then you're a tackle. Just needed a ball. There is many ways to enjoy a sport. Many ways. First of all, you need friends. You need a group of people. Baseball, all I had was one buddy of mine on a slow summer day, and we would just play automatic wiffle ball. Didn't have to run the bases. We just knew that was a single. When you hit it there as a double, hit it there as a triple, hit it way over there as a home run. And we threw the ball against the wall. We would play stickball. We would get a broom and a rubber ball, and we would pitch the ball, and you hit it. It could just be two of us. But we always did the automatic. Didn't have to run the bases. Didn't have to have much to play that game. Just your bare hands to catch the ball, throw the ball, and a broomstick. So, looking at this as the most popular sport, soccer obviously blows everybody away by far. It doubles, or I would even say probably, it doubles or almost triples football, American football. Nearly, it's close. It's like a 60-40 split. For baseball, right behind number 3, basketball is number 4, ice hockey number 5, and then cricket and rugby finish off that list that make it as the most popular sports in the world. But baseball, as we approach the 2020 season, and this is why I bring it up, because we're getting close. We're going to talk a lot of baseball as we get ready for the new season. You wonder why it's still the most popular sport in a lot of people's minds. It's number 2 in America and number 3 in the world. And I don't see it changing as baseball is starting to expand itself even further internationally by bringing the game to Mexico, to Japan, to the UK. They're going to have another one, UK series. The Cardinals and the Cubs are going back out there. Last year was the Red Sox and the Yankees. Expanding themselves. It's common. They're doing it in every sport. Even soccer, with their big international teams, come here to play in America. It's money, marketing yourselves. There is a globe of a population. And I would say this, folks, ladies and gentlemen, American sports around the world is very popular. Very popular. People around the world love American sports or watching and following our professional leagues. They really do. It is truly a global effect for what we do here, for what we present here, what we show, and what we do in American sports. But globally, they love it. We introduce it. A lot of times have been introduced during war times. When you interact with the world over well over a century, or centuries in some matters, you get to learn about other cultures. And the introduction of American sports around the world has really made a major impact. Financially, for sure. But it gives a lot of kids hope and something to do. You know, sports, people would say, oh, you got to be rich to play that game. You know, hockey's difficult because you got to find ice and you got to have pads and ice. And the equipment in hockey is expensive. So it's harder in that aspect. But when you grew up with hockey in the winter, all we cared about was a stick and a puck and sometimes a ball with the stick. And we just ran around with our feet. We did something with the stick and the ball or the puck. Even if we didn't have ice or the lake wasn't frozen or something, or the ice skating rink wasn't available. But you always found ways as a kid to play a sport without paying anything. Today, it's difficult in a lot of ways. Everything is geared for joining a league. And the biggest thing that I see missing in our youth today, here in America, not all places, but I would say most of America, is the fact that they do not have neighborhood games. I can drive around when I grew up and somebody was always playing a game somewhere in the park, whatever it was. And today, or my gosh, for a few decades, you drive around neighborhoods across America, there's no kids playing in the streets or playing ball with their friends or doing something with a ball. Like, there's nothing like that. If you do see it, it's like a miracle sometimes. It's amazing sometimes to see that happening. So we lost that. And you wonder why it gets expensive, because everybody's feeding into leagues. Now, after school, we would just go find somewhere to go play ball and hang out. We always found a way to meet up. Instead of waiting for a league to sign up for. Yeah, we played in leagues, and our parents signed us up to play football, baseball, basketball, even hockey, for the sports that we enjoyed. But at the same time, we did not just wait for those leagues to start up again. We created our own games. We played our own games. And through that, we learned and grew, understood teamwork, battles, ups and downs of competition without a parent or without a coach, anything. We just dealt with it. We did it our way. We manage ourselves. That's a heck of a growth spurt for any kid. But we don't see that anymore in America. And I would say when you go overseas, you're seeing that a lot more. You're seeing how it used to be in America. I don't know if we'll ever get back there. Maybe certain neighborhoods in America, you will see the old way, the classic way. But it's those countries. I mean, if you go to South America, I'm telling you, they're playing ball wherever they can. If it's a soccer, if it's a baseball, if it's football, if it's a basketball, it's always like that. The moment it's winter and the lake freezes over, or you just want to get out there and play hockey, you put on roller skates or rollerblades and things like whatever you, and everybody got one. That's what the parents paid for it. Mom, can I get a hockey stick for Christmas? Why? Because Johnny has one, Susan has one, and I want to play with them too. And I don't have a stick, and I keep borrowing one of their sticks. And sometimes it wasn't like a real nice hockey stick. They bought you the plastic one, but you were still playing. Didn't matter. But we don't get that anymore. We've lost that. But you go around the world, and a lot of them are, poverty-stricken areas around the world that are finding ways to play sport. And you learn a lot that way. You learn a lot that way. Professional leagues try so hard to inflict a new energy of their sport with the kids and the youth in their communities. Building ball fields are nice. Gives them places to play ball in the inner cities where you don't really see a lot of grass. But somehow you can find a way of doing it. But we didn't care about grass in the city. We just found a way. We just found a way. We created our own leagues. We would challenge other groups, other streets in the city, the other neighborhood. We would send somebody out. Like, we had our little own mob. And I'm sure a lot of you did that when you grew up. And you would send somebody out and say, hey, go over there and challenge them. We want to play whatever. And we get a yes or a no. Or we find out that they want us to go there. So we would go there on their street, on their block. And then the next time they would have to come our street. So it becomes our home field kind of thing. If we played basketball, either we went to the park or we had basketball hoops in our backyard, in our friend's backyard. Same thing. Two-hand touch football. We didn't have to go find a field. Yeah, we played tackle. We did a lot of things. We used to play a game called Rumble, where we just threw a football out there. It was kind of like rugby. And whoever had the ball, you just tackle them. And you got to get the ball out of their hands. And if they get tackled, then they have to throw the ball up. But everybody wanted the ball. It was just like nobody was afraid to get hit or tackled. You got so comfortable with it. So we've had great athletes come from it. We had fearless athletes come from it. We had fearless people grow into men and women because of the way you were immune to playing a certain way without a referee. But you knew the rules. Everybody knew the rules. And we would referee each other. We've lost that. We've lost that. But to recap, before we move on with this topic, and I see your comments, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Frank. Yeah, Frank Wonder, basketball. Frank on YouTube, I see your comment. Basketball is a very popular sport worldwide, but it's not as popular as in your own mind. Like the way we thought about it, the way we grew up with it, the way we had a great era of the 80s and the 90s where it was really awesome. The popularity of it. And then where are we today? What happened to the NBA? What happened to the NBA? I mean, we can have a whole show on that one. There was a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes. The team concept of basketball. It used to be about the team, the name on the jersey. Now it's more about the name on the back. And that's where it breaks down. That's where it broke down. I think a lot has to do with LeBron James, folks. I think LeBron, great talent, but everything he did to the game, I mean, a talent like LeBron James never should have been playing anywhere else other than Cleveland. And maybe one other team later in his career, or that one trade that happens, because great ones do get traded. But when you go to so many different teams to play ball, that also exemplifies where the NBA is at. There's no loyalty in that way or not. You want the players to make their own money. I get all that. But that's where it breaks down. And to me, it is an example, and the talent level and the rule changes. The game is, you watch basketball, there's no battles. Their only battles is hitting 3-pointers and who can, oh, he hit one too. Soft. NBA soft. It's Olay. It's Olay. It's like the bull is coming to get you, and you got this guy out there who's got knives and swords and stuff that just stabs the freaking bull. And the bull's got no chance. It's a matter of time. But you're hoping that one time that bull can just nail him. I do. I just do. But it's like the NBA is Olay. You know what's happening. And it's not that exciting, because I don't know how you get excited at a bullfight. You're just waiting for that one in whatever chance that a bull's going to nail the guy. So basketball is the same thing. You know what's going on, and you just try to glorify basketball players that are, we've seen it, we've seen this game before. We've seen that act before. And you may have one or two players that are just do special stuff. But when it comes to a team and a game, the battles, the physicality of it, competition, you want to watch, you want to be entertained. Is there a story? What is the story of the NBA? What is a game story? They find and search for stories to sell you and promote to you. This is the story of this game. Nobody is paying attention to that story. And when they do, it has to be the NBA finals or the conference finals, when there's a matchup that can sell a little bit more and the ratings go up a little bit more, because more people get to watch one or two games. That's spread out. But they try to sell you the story. Nobody's buying it for many reasons. Is it informative? How informative is that game? Not reaching people, or people are tuning it out. And then it comes entertainment, the entertainment value. Where is the entertainment value of the NBA? It's not selling, folks. I don't care who has whatever jersey and whatever. How many dunks do you have to see? We've seen dunks. Not that special anymore. The NBA needs to find it. I mean, I don't know how they pull it together. They may have lost it. They may have lost what they had, such great stuff going on. For baseball, it will never fall apart like that. It will never fall apart like that, because the game is designed differently. The game has team and individuality in it. There is fierce competition. There is a pitcher and a batter, and it's a big focus, and that is a story going on there. There's information going on right in front of you, watching. And then there's entertainment in it. Oh, it's boring, it's slow. Golf is boring and slow. But golf had 500,000 people last weekend at the Waste Management Open in Scottsdale, Arizona. People show up. But it's not on the list as the most popular sport, golf. It's not. Even though it's an international sport, it's not. It's not. It's not going to happen. But there it is. Those are the three things I look at: story, informative, and entertainment for professional sports. And if you're not hitting on all three of them, your sport is dying or is struggling. Or it is what it is. Football, American football, you got it all. You got stories, and everybody's buying into it week to week, day to day, off season. A lot of stories. A lot of stories in the NFL. Is it informative? They do a great job of information. And now that the fact that the game is popular, people wanting more information. So they're on a ride. They're on a high right now. How long does that maintain? Is it entertainment? Yes. People are highly entertained by the NFL, American football overall. Highly entertained. Baseball, too. People go to baseball games. The attendance is an all time high. And for soccer, international football, same thing. So once you click that, once you get the story going, and once you get the information going, the entertainment just sometimes you don't have to do much other than just walk onto the field, and that is entertaining. It gets too easy. Right now, the NFL and soccer, too easy. Baseball, you get to watch each player get an opportunity to do something. You get the each player gets the bat that's playing, and you get an individual spotlight every time that batter steps in the batter's box. The pitcher is always on the spotlight, catching the ball, making the play in the field, playing defense. There's a spotlight moment. It's just you and the ball. There's a story within that story itself. When you watch a sporting event, it's a story. It's a story that's going to unfold. We try to introduce it to you. We try to prepare you for it. We give you the pre-story to it, promote it, but we really don't know how it's going to play out. We have projections. We have predictions. And that's all you can do. Yes, sometimes you can predict the outcome a little easier because one team is better than the other one in all sports. But when the game starts in professional sports, whatever you're watching, even if it's high school or college, or just playing in the street with your friends, there's a story. There is a beginning, there's a middle, and then there's the end. The outcome, winner or loser. But the story is the reality show in the middle of it. It's real. And that's why people love live sporting events. It's live. It's happening in real time. It's very powerful. Very powerful. All right. More comments coming in. I see you. I appreciate you popping in. And I know you got a lot to say. I know you do. And I appreciate it. Thank you, Frank and Mr. Wonderboy, from talking about basketball. Basketball is not up in the rankings in America. Auto racing is more popular than the NBA. Just don't forget that, okay? All right. Dawn says, everybody's saying hi to each other. I appreciate that. We got Glory. Denise. Hey, Denise. Good morning and happy Fab Friday to Glory. Yes, Danny Rogers. Now Todd pops in. Says basketball is still up in the air, but with all the people, let me see, complain the time of basketball is too long, but with the cheating and scandal attendance and things like that in baseball. Okay, I get you. Baseball's not going to get a hit. It actually, it stole a lot of the headlines from the NBA. The scandal did. It's ugly. It's not good, and they needed to squash it. And if they didn't take care of it right away, then it could have been a damaging blow to their game. But now that they overcome it, we moved on. But they've had their name in the news. And here's the other part of it. It's going to be one of those ongoing stories for the summer or for 2020 in baseball. So while the NBA playoffs and the NHL hockey playoffs are going on, which are fun to watch, baseball has its own stories. And they've done a great offseason to keep that in the forefront. And by accident, with the scandal, they get more of their name of the game out there during the time of the year where it's supposed to be basketball, supposed to be football. Hey, it challenged football, the NFL, for about 2 weeks. It was strong, Major League Baseball. Unfortunately, it was a scandal, but it was all about also understanding the game. It was entertaining. There was a huge story about the scandal, and it was very informative. Remember those three, folks. Always remember those three. If you can't hit on all three, Where are you? Where is it? Are you? Can it sell? And baseball had it all for the scandal. Not the greatest story you want, but at the same time, the information you were getting, and we were learning about baseball, about rules, the ethics, the integrity, history. So it brought a lot of positives into the game, and we were able to get more clarity on things. And we are still talking about it, and we're going to talk about it in a little bit with Hank Aaron and his thoughts about this. So it had a lot of positives in a way because it kept baseball in the news. And it was very informative. It was very entertaining. Kept us wanting to look for the next story. And it kept coming. And then Kobe Bryant's passing really affected a lot of people. It affected the NFL. It really took center stage. But that's a death, a popular person for the game, for the sport. And I'm going to tell you right now, Kobe Bryant's passing, the unfortunate of it all, everybody who died in that helicopter, that is basketball. That is the NBA's highlight in a sad way. Can you foresee a bigger story? No, not going to happen. Can you see last season, 2 seasons? The last big NBA story was when LeBron and Cleveland beat Golden State. That was like big for the NBA. But the last few years, it hasn't gone. It just, people don't, and if you watch an NBA game, how exciting really is it? How exciting really is it? There's no real battles going on. Is there really any defense going on? Which creates competition, which makes it that more celebrated when you score. That's why in hockey, when you score a goal in soccer or in hockey, it is a big deal because it's so hard to score. And even in the NFL, it's very hard to score. Very hard. Even in baseball, even though the numbers of runs are going up, it's still very climactic. It's still like scoring a run is big. It's a highlight. For the NBA, you get a highlight. What's the highlight? Another three-pointer? Or are we going to show 3 of them in the highlight? And the other 3. But baseball, they show you in highlights the great catch, the great dive and catch, the great slide. Like, they show highlights on defense, just like they do in the NFL. They give you highlights in defense. Now, the hockey has some great defensive highlights. But for the NBA, the block shot was a highlight, and it's not even highlighted anymore because nobody's really blocking shots like they used to. There's no real big center guy dominating that way, or you have a whole bunch of them. Now, I believe the NBA will get more bigger in size, but the game has to come back to the middle again. It has to, for its popularity to grow back up. That's my point with the NBA. If you get the game back to the middle, watch the competition and the fierce competition come into play. I don't know if it gets there, though. I don't know. If I was a general manager, I would want my big man. I would still have some old school, throw it inside the paint to my big guy, let him do his work on some weak-ass, tall, skinny, white, black, Mexican guy. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, some Ukrainian guy. They're too skinny. If Patrick Ewing and Olajuwon were playing basketball today, they would destroy them. They would destroy them because there's nobody in the middle to stop them. Think about that. They both had jump shots. They both dunked the ball. David Robinson. Think about those guys. Think about Charles Barkley in the low post. Oh, no, but Charles can go outside and hit the jump shot too. It's amazing that they got away from that style of play, that competition inside is what the game of basketball needs. It really does. I don't see enough of it. All right. Victoria in the house. Tim, Donna, Tampa Bay Lightning fans. I've been to a lot of Tampa Bay Lightning hockey games and a great fan support. Sly, Randy, Carlos, Kenny in the house, Chris Jones. Let's see. Popular. Yeah. You got that one right. Who else we got in there? We got Danny, we got Dania, we got another Denise still back in the house. Lucy's Choo Choo in the house. It is Hanna Time. Welcome to the show, the Hanna Time. Let's see. Choo Choo's got something classic, old neighborhood ball back in the Providence where we played a lot of empty lots on the block. Frankie go deep to the red Buick and left side. The ball is coming to you. There it is. Choo Choo did the same thing we did. If the car made the tackle in the street, oh well, part of the game. And I've seen a lot of us get run into cars. So cars just parked and he didn't see it. It's like the goalpost in the end zone. He didn't see it. Oh well. I've witnessed a lot of our friends get beat up by a car. Just a parked car. Oh, you do remember rumbling, Choo Choo. That was like the funnest thing to do. Then we turned it to kill the man with the ball. It went from rumbling to kill the man with the ball. Not literally kill, you know what I'm saying? It was just for the, go get him. I have photographs that people took of us. A photographer just took photos and gave it to us one day of us just rumbling. And it's hilarious. There was no touchdown. There was no yard sidelines. It was just open range. Go get the guy with the ball. And if it was a girl, it didn't matter. The girl got hit. And the girl would hit you. Like it didn't matter. That's how we played. And I think we missed a lot of that. We're missing a lot of that in our streets. We really are. Who else did they get? Eddie, Carrie in the house. Hey, Carrie Frazier. Robert, Choo Choo going on. El Salvador going on, Mr. Martinez. Yes, the game of basketball needs an interior game for it to raise its popularity the way it's getting killed. I tell you, ESPN is a big part of the NBA, showing all their games. And the NBA, the ratings for ESPN are down, even on their digital applications, like devices, like people watching games on their phones or laptops, computers, whatever it is. They're down 4%. That's huge when it comes to dollars. Huge. And you spend millions for this, which tells you they're not doing a good job of getting the word out or the talent or the product on the court. The product is not selling itself. If you are living in a city in the NBA that has a team that is good, that's how you're hanging on to popularity with it. But even then, overall, nobody's paying attention. All right. We got to move on to other stuff. You know that? Here we go. More news. Baseball. Before I leave. Baseball income. The average operating income for Major League Baseball. Operating. Not like what they make. They make, my God, like well over a couple $100 million. Baseball. To operate an average Major League Baseball team, it's running about $40 million. About $40 million a year. Maybe 50 by this next season. Okay? We'll just say $50 million for baseball right now. That's to operate your team on an average. On an average. And you say, well, man, that's hard, man. That's like a lot of money. But then you think about all the millions, not 100 million. We're talking a couple of 100 million more, a lot more. And matter of fact, the owners are not just making a couple of $100 million. I mean, if some teams are valued over $1 billion, They're valued over a $500 million. The value of them, which means the players are making on an average to operate. I wouldn't say the players. The average operation for any Major League Baseball team, we're going to just say closer to $50 million now a year. That's from contracts, employees, the operation of the facilities, whatever is year-round stuff. Amazing. But for people and baseball fans who think just the big market, popular city teams have all the advantages, you're absolutely blinded by the hypocrites, the people, the haters who want to spew out the BS on that topic. They have the money. They have a lot of money. It goes down to the ownership. Do you want to spend it or not? And in the world of sports, you will not win if you don't spend to keep your players and go get a nice player or two. The Phoenix Suns, young team, did not make a trade. They haven't made a trade at the deadline that has been wanting and needed in the desert for a very long time. Maybe nobody wants to play in the desert. Maybe it's just not that place to go. They want to go to a winner. Maybe the culture of the NBA is, I don't want to go to a team. I'm a top 10 elite great basketball player in the NBA. I'm not going to Phoenix. I want to win. I'm going to go, and I want to be traded somewhere to win. Now, that's part of another problem with the NBA. But the Phoenix Suns, I mean, they're going to have some contracts coming up again, too, with some young talent if they stick around. But there's an example. You know, you have a chance to make the playoffs, and you get one big piece to make a run or get into playoffs with it. That's huge economically for the city itself, and for the team making money. It raises your value too. It brings interest back. There's a story there. There's some information there that the fans are going to feed into. And now they're going to go watch for entertainment and see, I want to come back for more. I want to watch this more. I like what I'm watching. Not just the basic diehard fan. All right. More comments coming in. Appreciate it. Well, we're going to talk about the Daytona 500 next week, Todd. Got a lot of stories about auto racing as we kick off the racing season. All right, moving on. That big trade with the Boston Red Sox and the LA Dodgers it's not official. It's been agreed upon. And there is an issue with medical reports, okay? Major League Baseball Network reports this, and we're hearing all over the place now, that some of the people involved in the trade between the Dodgers and the Red Sox have some medical issues that has not been cleared. That involves the Mookie Betts three-way trade, that the certainty of this trade is still not solidified. The report is this. First of all, the Mookie Betts health situation seems to be okay, but it wasn't cleared right away. Now there's more stories coming out about the players involved in the trade besides Mookie Betts. A few of the prospects, right, that are involved in the trade have not been cleared. If this doesn't get cleared, then decisions or the deal falls apart. Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic writes that the Dodgers are trying to acquire another prospect to send in a deal to help out the situation so the Red Sox would feel comfortable with a medical report that they may be okay with, maybe a question there, but getting another player involved, sending another player to get the job done. But here's another problem with this trade. The Dodgers made other trades to clear up roster space. Those deals are not confirmed yet because they're still waiting for this Mookie Betts deal and David Price to get cleared. So everything's on hold still. We're still waiting for the report to come out. Maybe it's today if this gets cleared. A lot of people feel it's going to get done. It's a matter of time. But man, this cannot blow up in the Dodgers' face, man. They're so close of stealing Mookie Betts, stealing him for basically nothing in my eyes. Right? And I really feel that way. You know, I made a comment the other day. So how do the Dodgers afford a Mookie Betts, who is in his 1 year of his contract, that his contract is going to run out next season? He's going to ask for a lot of money, big, elite money. And then somebody wants to spew out there that the Boston Red Sox can't afford Mookie Betts. So, all right, maybe the Red Sox are trying to change their direction and eliminate some money. But I'm thinking the one player you don't want to trade is your best player, Mookie Betts. Young, plays multiple positions. I mean, the guy is a great baseball player. And you traded one of the best baseball players away. You would think, keep your best player, give him that big contract, and get rid of the other ones that maybe you still like, but you can not worry about their contract or when they become free agents. But the question was, the Boston Red Sox couldn't afford Mookie Betts. It's the Boston Red Sox. It's Boston. They have a lot of money. How can they not afford him? But we got other players. Well, let's flip it into the Dodgers. Let's look at the Dodgers. The Dodgers have other players to worry about too. They have other contracts to worry about. They got a few young, talented guys. They just signed their first baseman to a 3-year deal. Not a great big contract, but there's more money involved. Cody Bellinger he's going to want a big contract when his contract time comes up. They got Buehler, their ace pitcher, who's going to ask for a big dollar in a couple of years or so. So how does the Dodgers say, well, we're going to sign and extend Mookie Betts' contract? Well, it's going to be elite. And I said, well, the Dodgers can do it because they got the money. They all have money, but they can find ways. So the Dodgers have all this money, and they can sign Mookie, Bellinger, Buehler. They got the bees. You know, they got their own bees going there. And other young, talented players. They're going to face a huge salary problem, the Dodgers. Or do they care? They are looking to win now. But to say that the Dodgers can afford Mookie Betts and everybody on their roster right now, but the Boston Red Sox can't because Boston doesn't have that kind of financial money to take care of a big roster like that. It's a bunch of nonsense. You don't trade your best player and get couple of little minor leaguer guys that have nice names and high potential. Potential. That's all you're getting is potential. It's not about the money, folks. It's becoming more obvious it's something more with the Boston Red Sox. I don't know if we'll ever hear the truth about the Red Sox scandal with their cheating, similar to the Houston Astros. They say the Red Sox will not be scolded or punished by baseball. It's been done already. But I got a hunch, and I got a feeling when you trade an MVP young talent that can play for your team for 10 years and sell a heck out of all your branding name, your jersey, everything, the player of your organization. Why would you do that? What is going on here? Now, I'm just going to put it out here, and I'm going to think and believe there's more going on behind the scenes that is punishing the Red Sox or forcing them to do something without having a public disaster with the fans in Major League Baseball and globally, and the black eye that the Boston Red Sox would get that the Houston Astros got. And the Houston Astros couldn't get out of their own way. But Boston could get out of their own way because it was still kind of quiet. I have a hunch that there is more to this, and may never know. We're just talking top executives working this out. You don't trade Mookie Betts. You don't. He's the most popular guy in Boston when it comes to sports. He's gone. Once this trade gets confirmed, he's gone. There's more to it, folks, but we may never know. We never know. It may be a way for baseball to say this is what you're going to have to do. I don't know if they say, hey, you got to go trade Mookie Betts. But then again, was Mookie Betts a part of all this scandalous stuff too? And was Boston, or is Boston trying to get rid of some of it so it doesn't come back to them, or they get over it and move on as fast as possible? It's just mind-boggling, folks, that you trade away your best player. Mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. All right, let's move on. More comments coming in. Appreciate it. Thank you guys for popping in today. Stephen Harris, Miguel, Antonio, JT in the house. A lot of people would love to have a Mookie Betts on their team. I think the Diamondbacks did fantastic in the offseason. I think the Diamondbacks got a great year in them coming to them. I believe they have a pitching staff that is still among one of the best in baseball now with Bumgarner. We're going to get into all the baseball predictions here maybe next week. I'm just trying to wait it out with all the free agencies and some more trades in baseball. We're going to figure this all out. We can't just jump yet who has the upper hand. But I will say right now, the Diamondbacks are in the mix to do something very special this year. On paper, it can all go very well for them. We'll talk about it and why. Okay? We'll talk about that and why. All right. More coming in about this. I see you guys in the comments. I thank you, YouTube listeners. I see you. Hank Aaron. Why or why not is the question. That the Houston Astros players for cheating did not get suspended or kicked out of baseball. An article that Hank Aaron spoke out loudly about the Astros scandal. His quote, we're talking Hammer and Hank, a highly regarded, credible legend of the game, the home run king in many people's eyes, said those involved should be out of baseball. That means he's saying ban them. They're done. They're out. They should never be back. They should be out of baseball. Not only the general manager and the manager of the Astros, but the Astro players that we are strongly knowing in a lot of ways were involved. This is why Pete Rose is speaking loudly about getting reinstated. But Hank Aaron says should be out of baseball. When you have one of the elite, respectable guys and men of the game of baseball, historically and currently, speaking out like that, that is a huge message to the manager's office in Major League Baseball. Which also tells me players around the league in Major League Baseball will not let this get away. This is going to be a fun, interesting season when the Astros go to every ballpark on the road. It is going to be a story. It's going to be informative, and it's going to be entertaining a lot. And it's going to help baseball in that respect because it's a story. It's entertaining, and there's a lot of information coming out. Stay tuned. This is one of the big stories of baseball in 2020. I mean, there are fans lining up to go on the road to boo and yell at every Astro player in every other ballpark other than Houston. Gonna be fun to watch. Gonna be fun to watch. All right. All right. Can I shift gears into football? Are you ready for some football? All right. Here's some football talk. We're not going to stay too long on it. We got about 20 more minutes to go, and then we're out of here. Okay. All right. Headline news around the NFL. The Dallas Cowboys seemingly offered Dak Prescott a contract last offseason, a year ago, for $33 million. Think about that. Dak Prescott turned down $33 million. That's elite numbers. That is elite money for the NFL, and you turn it down. And what did you provide? You had a good season, but you didn't win anything as a quarterback. And now your season plays out to where a lot of question marks. There's more negativity to it. And maybe you're not worth the $33 million now. Now, a lot of people don't think he's worth $33 million, Dak Prescott of the Cowboys as their quarterback. Do the Cowboys come back and offer the same contract? If they do, Dak, you better take it. You better take it. Another quarterback, contract extension or not, the Kansas City Chiefs know they have a year with Patrick Mahomes, the MVP of the Super Bowl. But the Kansas City Chiefs said they're not going to talk contract until after the NFL draft. Stay tuned to that story. Carolina Panthers, their quarterback situation, Cam Newton's future. The Carolina Panthers are refusing to comment about Cam Newton's future. How about the future of Le'Veon Bell and the New York Jets with their head coach Adam Gase with this relationship issue? Le'Veon Bell said it again. We are good. Blown out of proportion. Eric Weddle is now retiring from football after 13 seasons of the NFL. Also in the news, Washington Redskins big-time tackle, lineman, offensive lineman, Trent Williams. The report is that the Washington Redskins have firm plans to keep him. They want him in Washington. More news, Los Angeles Ram news. All options on the table with Todd Gurley and trading him. Would you trade for a Todd Gurley? All options on the table. San Francisco, general manager Johnny Lynch, franchise tagging one of their defensive linemen, Armstead. Possibility. And in Kansas City, Sammy Watkins, who had some big numbers in the Super Bowl, some big catches in the playoffs and the Super Bowl, said he's not retiring, but needs downtime after this season. There's your headline news for the NFL on this Friday, your Good Friday. More disappointing news, though, around the NFL for the Cleveland Browns fans. They are what? They are raising the ticket prices in Cleveland for Browns game. Okay? Even though the team fell short of expectations last season, Browns are raising season ticket prices. Go figure. Big news, Rumorville. This is getting hotter each day. You're hearing a lot about Tom Brady being with the Oakland, now the Las Vegas Raiders. Derek Carr, supposedly on his way out, supposedly is being shopped around. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers name has popped up. Stay tuned. But who is going to be the Raiders quarterback if it's not Derek Carr? Is it Tom Brady? There is rumors right now that Tom Brady has bought a house in Las Vegas. We have no confirmation, but there is rumors that he has bought a home in Vegas. Maybe there is something in the works with the Raiders. We've been hearing his name with the Raiders for a few weeks now. Stay tuned to that story, folks. Brady in Las Vegas with the Raiders. Derek Carr on his way out. They're shopping him around. They can't make a deal if they don't trade him. If they trade Derek Carr, the Raiders, then you know they are going after a veteran quarterback right away. Tom Brady. You know, Vegas is not a far drive flight away from his hometown area of the San Francisco Bay Area. It really is not that far. It's really closer to home, closer to California. Tom Brady is a California guy, Northern California guy. So stay tuned to the Raiders and Tom Brady and Derek Carr maybe on his way out. More quarterback news. Big Ben Roethlisberger is planning on a great comeback. Says he's going to be ready for next season. The Pittsburgh Steelers feel they don't need any backups. They're comfortable with their young quarterbacks, developing them. And at the same time, they feel Big Ben is still the best choice. And why not? If his arm is healthy from that injury, the Steelers just upgraded their whole game from 8 wins to 11 wins. They win 3 more games, Pittsburgh Steelers, if Big Ben is their quarterback. But also in the news with the Steelers that relates to a Big Ben story is Antonio Brown. He has apologized to Big Ben and the Pittsburgh Steelers and their fans in Pittsburgh, or Steeler fans. Antonio Brown isn't sure where his future holds. But Antonio Brown said, he did say and come out with his apology, that he wants to play football. He misses Pittsburgh. He misses the Berg, as he put it. Throwing it out there. Is this a man who is desperate? Is he faking it? Is he true to the heart? Did he learn his lesson? Did he learn his mistakes from his mistakes? Is he under control? For Antonio Brown to get back into the NFL, I would say he needs to do what? Take a lesser contract. He doesn't have an agent. His agent blew him off, dumped him. Drew Rosenhaus is no longer his agent. But I would say this. If Antonio Brown gets back in the game, expect him to get a lesser contract. He's not going to get AB money the way he thought he was, or he should have been getting with that great career he was having. So if somebody wants take a chance, spending a little money, not a lot. It's not going to be a lot, Antonio Brown. You're going to have to prove yourself with some incentives of an option for a second year. You may have to take a 1-year deal with an option for number 2. And it'll probably be a team option. And if it's a team option, then they probably have to add more money on the back end of that second year. Meaning, if you're making a couple of $1 million in 1 year, the first year, the only year you're going to get a contract, the option year, it probably goes up. If they're happy with you, you did great, it may go up maybe $8 more million. And all of a sudden, you're going to be a $8 to $10 million wide receiver again at that point. And then we'll see what happened after year 2. But that's the pack and the track for Antonio Brown. He's going to have to take a lot less to get back on the field because nobody's going to take a chance on a out-of-control history at the offseason disaster that he had. Why spend big money on something that you're wasting? You could waste. So there's going to have to be an Antonio Brown. He's going to have to suck it up. And if he shows that kind of apologetic gesture by taking less money to get on a roster, to prove himself, not on the field, because I think on the field he's still going to be dynamic. He's still going to be great. But off the field is where everybody's watching. In the locker room, there's going to be rules. There's going to be restrictions. He's going to have to live by it. And if he breaks those rules, they can release him automatically without paying him any money. He's going to have some restricted numbers and contract stuff involved. for him to get on a contract to play football. Antonio Brown, if everything gets cleared with him with the NFL, this all can happen for him fairly quickly. He is an extraordinary wide receiver. He would uplift your team immediately on the field. But, but we cannot say or foresee any future with his off the field actions. All right, folks. I appreciate you popping in today. Great show for you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Lavon, Paula, thank you for popping in. I appreciate it. For you on YouTube Live, thank you. Right here on Hanna Time, Global Sports Broadcasting Network. This is Cornelius Brad Hanna. Global Sports Broadcasting Network.com, the live stream. Also, Facebook Live. I always want to go that way. And also YouTube. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And for all of you on this Friday, have a great weekend. Enjoy your Good Friday. And continue to love yourself. We'll talk to you on Monday. Let's see what happens over the weekend. What stories break. I'll have something for you. More discussion on Monday morning right here on Hanna Time. Cornelius Brad Hanna will talk to you Monday right here on GSBN. All right, you guys on YouTube, thank you so much. Love you guys. Love you. We'll talk to you soon, my man. All righty.